The worst ways animals have lost their lives. A 39-year-old man from Truman, Arkansas, who was paralyzed from the waist down and whose name has been kept anonymous, saw a little white puppy abandoned on the street and he decided to adopt it. It was one of the worst decisions of his life. 3 weeks later, he woke up one day and saw something horrible when he looked down. His dog was eating his and was all covered in blood. The emergency teams quickly arrived and treated him, and the dog was put down shortly after. Do you think it was fair? Maifun, this little 2-year-old pug. Stephanie, the owner, was walking Maifun and his brother in a park. The dogs were off leash, and after the walk, the woman decided to leash them. But while she was leashing one of them, Maifun crossed in front of a person who was running and got kicked in the head, which ended his life. The worst special effects in famous movies. Zack Snyder's Justice League needed to shoot some new scenes with the actor Henry Cavill. But at that time, the actor had a mustache because he was filming another movie, Mission Impossible Fallout, and he couldn't shave it off. So in post-production, they did this with special effects. They decided to remove his mustache with computer-generated imagery, and the result left a lot to be desired. According to people, one of the scenes in the third installment of Jaws has the worst special effects in the history of cinema. And watching it, it could be true, but at least it has the excuse that it's very old, and at that time they didn't have as many resources to make good special effects. But this movie called Birdemic, shock and terror, has no excuse since it was released in 2010. And I'm sure that nowadays a 5-year-old kid with After Effects could make better special effects than these. When I was younger and was watching one of the movies from the saga The Mummy, I couldn't believe that the special effects were so bad. They had a budget of nearly 100 million but apparently spent nothing on computer-generated imagery. This scene where the character played by The Rock transforms is really funny. The worst ways people have died. A worried couple, Min Chen, 29 years old, and Lian Xiao, 34 years old, reported to police that their 5-year-old daughter had disappeared. According to them, they left the girl alone for a moment in the restaurant and she simply disappeared. But the reality is much more cruel. Shortly after, the police discovered that the mother had beaten the girl to death and hidden her somewhere near the freezer. Johann Offner, a film specialist, was filming a music video for a hip-hop group. And one of the actors was playing with the weapons, which were supposed to be fake. But no, one of the shotguns was real and loaded. Offner was shot and it ended his life. This man named David Kasich had an expired inspection sticker and tried to run away from the police. Officer Lisa Markel, seeing the man escaping, shot him with the taser. The man was completely unarmed and had his hands visible. But the officer thought he had a weapon, so she shot him with her firearm. Mistakes in movies you never noticed. In one of the scenes from The Lord of the Rings, Gandalf appears with a watch on his wrist, something that clearly wasn't from that era. In some Pirates of the Caribbean frames, a man in a hat and glasses appears who isn't part of the movie. It was later revealed that he was part of the production team and that he appeared in the final movie by mistake. One of the actors from Game of Thrones forgot his Starbucks coffee cup on top of a table. In post-production, no one noticed this, but when the episode aired, the viewers did notice and then it was corrected. In Spider-Man, when Peter is discovering his powers, he breaks a lamp against the wall, and then, when Aunt May comes to check, the lamp is as good as new on top of the furniture. The luckiest people in the world. Without a doubt, this girl is very lucky but not very smart. Because who would open a phone worth over $1,000 by a window? She almost dropped it, but luckily for her, everything was fine. This girl tries to break the piñata at her birthday party, and when she finally does and the candy falls, she doesn't notice all the kids rushing for the candy. And she just barely avoids hitting 3 of them really hard. Good thing they ducked. It's very common to have an accident because you hit an animal on the road, but I had never seen anything like this. A deer crosses in front of this BMW driver, but the animal manages to jump completely over the car. What do you think? Is this luck or skill from the driver of this truck? At one point he loses control and puts it on 2 wheels. It looks like it's going to tip over, but he manages to stabilize it. This boy is practicing gymnastics and wants to do a double somersault, but luckily his coach was very attentive because he was about to land directly on his head. People who lost their lives while taking a selfie. This is the last photo that Courtney Sanford took, a 32-year-old woman. At 8:33 in the morning, she took a photo while driving and shared it on her social media. Because she was using her phone in the car, she lost control and just a minute after uploading the photo, crossed the median strip and hit a truck. The car started to burn, the truck driver came out completely unharmed, but Courtney wasn't so lucky. Woo Young-nin, 26 years old, was a content creator who dedicated himself to doing challenges and uploading very dangerous photos. In one of these challenges, he climbed to the top of a 62-story building. He hung himself and did pull-ups, but when he tried to climb back up, he couldn't and fell into the void. The worst part is it was recorded and quickly went viral online. Videos with unexpected endings. I've tried to win a stuffed animal from one of these claw machines a few times, but I've never come across one like this. It's magical. The guy grabs an elephant and a real cat comes out. This man is trying to do a trick with his skateboard. He fails and falls into the water. I think he should swap skateboarding for fishing as a hobby. At first, I was surprised to see a man leading so many ducks through the middle of a city. But that's not all of them. When the camera shifts, there are even more. I think he wants to take over the country with a duck army. I never would have thought this video would end like this. A man is cutting down a tree and a dog comes out from inside. I wonder how it got in there. A woman was trying to make a nice family video, but her baby completely ruined it. People who cheated death. Bryce Hale, only 8 months old, was traveling in the car with her mother, Justice Lawson, and some other family members and friends. Her grandmother Trina was driving when suddenly an accident happened. This caused their car to roll over, throwing the baby out the window. When the family realized the baby was missing, they went to look for her quickly, but they couldn't find anything. Surprisingly, the firefighters did find her. The baby was in a drainage ditch about 10 meters away, and miraculously, she was unharmed. Christina Leach, 27 years old, told a man that she was an experienced masseuse and said she could give him a massage at his home. The man agreed, and while Christina was giving him the massage, she tied him up and then poured a flammable liquid on him and set him on fire. After this, she left him burning and stole his car, but fortunately the man survived. Clever Freire and Gabriel Otrin had finished their office shift, so they got into the elevator and went to the parking lot, but before they arrived, they saw that the elevator was flooding very quickly. They called the police, and luckily they were rescued fast because they could have lost their lives by drowning. People wrongly identified as celebrities. Someone pretended to be Tom Cruise in a small chicken shop to get free chicken in northeastern Thailand. It looks like they believed it. They even have a photo of him and the owner hanging up. Her grandson posted this photo online, claiming Barack Obama was visiting Uruguay. The president's simplicity is unmatched. He uploaded this image very happy because he thought that same night he had met Hugh Jackman, the actor who plays Wolverine. I wonder how long it took him to realize that that's not Hugh Jackman and that he doesn't really look like him either. He shared this selfie with a caption that said, "Excited to meet Vin Diesel at a restaurant." One of them posted this saying, "My friend and I met Drake last night. Sorry to tell you that's not the real Drake, but he does look quite a bit like him." The worst ways people have died. Jacques van der Sant, a 29-year-old golf player. He had a competition with his friend to see who could find more golf balls in the lakes on the course. They dove into 2 different lakes and nothing happened at all, but in the third one something terrible happened. When Jacques was looking for more balls, a 4-meter crocodile appeared at the bottom and ended his life. When the rescue team arrived, they found the man's body inside the animal's mouth. There was nothing that could be done anymore. Vince Villafor, 46 years old. The man was going to go on a kayaking trip with his girlfriend Angelica, but what he didn't know was that his girlfriend had sabotaged the kayak. Soon after starting the trip, water got in and the kayak capsized. Angelica did nothing and waited more than 25 minutes to call emergency services to make sure her boyfriend had already lost his life. Animals you probably haven't seen without hair. Chimpanzees, just like humans, can have alopecia, a condition that causes all the hair on their body to fall out. And this is what they look like. I feel a little sorry for him, to be honest. You all know what a penguin looks like, and in my opinion, they're pretty adorable animals. But I'm sure you've never seen a penguin without feathers, so here I present to you a bald penguin who was rejected by its parents because it was born this way. Thank God some caretakers helped it, and its feathers grew back and it was able to be reintroduced to its family. We've all seen many horses and all of different colors, but I've never seen a horse without hair. When I saw this photo, I noticed that a lot of people were even scared by my fear. It doesn't scare me, but it does seem very strange to me. Hedgehogs are very cute animals, but I didn't know that hedgehogs could also be bald. This is Betty, and even though she's bald, she's completely healthy and can live a normal life. Sometimes raccoons can develop infections that make their hair fall out and they look like this. They say it's pretty common to see in nature. I haven't seen any. Have you? The hidden detail in this photo saved a person's life. On May 5th, 1979, the local police in Birmingham started receiving a lot of calls from people who had seen something strange in the trunk of a car. After hearing about this, intern reporter Mark Wine and veteran photographer Jerry set out to solve the mystery. The only clue they had was that the car was a Dodge. They had no idea what the license plate was or where it was located, so they decided to drive around aimlessly until after 3 hours, they finally found the car. The photographer Jerry took this photo that cleared up two big questions: what was the car's license plate and what was hidden in the trunk? If we look closely, there's something truly disturbing: the hand of a person. Thanks to this information, the police found the car, and when they opened the trunk, they found this man, Gary O'Collier. The man had been in that trunk for 14 hours because the night before, the driver and the passenger of the car had robbed him. They had stabbed him and forced him to get in there, and that's how a simple photo saved a person's life. The 7 worst fashion design fails. Someone invented these stockings with painted toenails. At first, it seems like a good idea. You put them on and you don't have to keep painting your nails all the time. But look at the result. It looks like all her toes are completely broken. I know there are a lot of people who are fans of the Twilight Saga, but I think they've gone too far here. What woman would wear this with a big picture of Edward Cullen on it? When I went to the website to check the price of these pants that look like they're stained with mud, I got 2 shocks. The first was seeing that they cost over $400, and the second was that they were completely sold out. At least you have the matching jacket. He went to a fancy restaurant with his family to celebrate his grandfather's 90th birthday, but didn't understand why everyone laughed at his shirt. People who are having a worse day than you. Imagine getting on a plane for the first time, looking out the window and seeing this. I assure you, I would faint until the plane lands. This unpleasant thing happened to a man while he was trying to take off his jacket. The zipper got stuck on his eyelid. They were finally fulfilling their dream from their dating days, visiting the Eiffel Tower. But when they arrived, went up and saw these views, they were completely disappointed. I think someone is going to lose their job. He had to do an online conference, so he joined the call and fell asleep. But he didn't realize he had accidentally turned on the camera. Is there anything worse than ending up like this on your yearbook photo on your first year as a teacher? He wanted to take a car out of the garage, but he forgot that there was a Jeep on top of it, and it ended up completely wrecked. People who hate luxury cars. This man, angry at millionaires, took a can of paint to a super sports car parking lot and started staining them one by one. In this case, I agree with the grandma. This car deserved it for being impatient. This guy thought it would be fun to use a sports car as a ramp. The good thing is that these expensive cars usually have cameras and they were able to identify him quickly. When they delivered the supercar to its new owner, they unloaded it a bit roughly. I want to believe it wasn't out of envy and that it was just an accident. The worst design fails in history. This slide is a bit strange since it makes you hit your back constantly. The direction to open these scissors say to open it with another pair, but if I had another pair, I probably wouldn't have bought these. Comment if you noticed the mistake in this mold. Seriously, what kind of psychopath makes a hopscotch where there's a pit? I don't even want to imagine what could be on the floor of this public bathroom, especially on the way from the toilet to the toilet paper. Here we have some drawers that ended up completely useless. And I don't know if this design is really the most suitable for a bathroom.